everybody, it's Heather. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you have been before, thanks very much for coming back. This is the first journaling video I've done for absolutely ages. My last videos, quite a few of them, have been sort of art journal related, so where I've done some artwork. I've really not been feeling the actual journaling passion for a little while now, so I'm going to use this hopefully as a method of getting my mojo back, because I've been struggling a little bit to put anything physical together from a journal point of view other than artwork. So I feel like I need to start again, but with something maybe a little bit smaller. So I've picked this particular project. I have done a video on how to make these little booklets. They are so easy to make. It is literally just a couple of squares of board for the rather rectangles of board for the covers, and then a piece, I use A4 sheet of paper that I just cut down very slightly on the sides, score it in the middle, and then fold it well so that it folds in, and then basically I sandwich that in between the two pieces of board and add a ribbon underneath so that the whole thing will tie together. Now in this particular instance I'm going to just cut. Normally I would leave it like this so it just folds and then folds open, but I'm thinking what I would like to do is cut to the centre line, because I want it to sort of flip out. So I'm doing it very slightly differently, but I'll link the video below so I can fold it like that if I want to, or like that. So I'll link that video below if you've not seen it, but it's really simple. You can see it's pretty easy. You can use any size paper or card that you want, obviously, as long as your covers sort of cover the paper when it's folded. Now in my last video I did some artwork for these journal printables. I did a couple of moths because I just wanted to do something a little bit different. I haven't done, I think part of the issue with the journaling is that I haven't done any of the vintagey style stuff recently, and that's what I wanted to get back into. So I did some illustrations that I'm using for my own printables, and I've printed off some small versions so that they fit neatly in the folded quarter of these this piece of paper. So I've done a couple of different styles. I quite like that because it's almost like a cabinet sort of shape. And then I've done myself a little note page there that can be stuck down. You can't get a huge amount in these obviously because they are quite small, but it's nice to have a little bit of journaling space, and I think I'm going to keep this one fairly flat, so I'll probably pop that there. And I did them in a couple of different colours. I have a sort of light grey blue, and then I've used a darker blue there, but I have inked around some of them. But I think, I'm not sure whether I'm going to use the blue. I think I'm going to stick with the vintagey colours today and use those on there. What I did do was pull out a load of bits and bobs from one of my little folders. You know, I keep folders and I put stash in them sort of in colour, sort of not order, but that is just a folder with sort of similar colours, things that I can easily pull out and quickly use, and then it saves me faffing around trying to find supplies if I get an idea with some colours that I want to use. So that sort of helps me to defeat the overwhelm. So I've pulled out a few bits. I actually pulled some out on the pinks and the blues because I wasn't sure at this stage whether I was going to be using the blues or adding a little bit of green, because that's got a bit of a greeny hue. So I pulled out some pinks, mainly the pinks because the moth that I picked for the illustrations has quite a pink hue to it. So I picked some pinks out and some greys, and obviously I'm working with my craft card as well, so I've got all of those bits, little tiny bits of lace and things, and I'm going to put it together now. Now bear in mind I haven't done this for so long. I'm sorry if I'm a bit fumbly and not as concise as lots of YouTubers. Please bear with me. You can always fast forward if you want to, but I hope you'll stick with me because obviously I've not been making this type of video for a little while, and it would be really nice to get some support. So right then, let's crack on. So what I'm going to do first of all is stick the ribbon down. Now it's important when you do this, you don't want your board, your covers, to be too close together, otherwise when you open the book it will sort of impinge. So you want to leave a little bit of a gap in between the covers. So I think probably the best thing to do would be, I'm just using up scraps here, so this is like the end of a ribbon roll. The best thing to do would be to glue the ribbon down first, I think. So I've filled up my glue and I filled it too far and it's been overflowing. It's been coming out the little spout. So we'll just glue the ribbon down first and then we'll pop the inner pages down. Just leave a bit of a gap and stick that down. This is just a really nice, simple, easy closure, but you could do all sorts of things, couldn't you? I suppose you could pop a little belly band round it, a little elastic sort of band, and decorate that up. This is nice and easy though. Right, let's hope this works. So, actually I'm going to pop the glue directly onto the card and then put that down. There we go. So how are you? It's been a while since I've sort of spoken properly on camera. Plenty of glue on there, we don't want it coming off. It's very loud, isn't it, the glue? It's actually surprisingly quiet outside. It's actually the Jubilee and it's Friday, so I think people are out possibly shopping because I can't hear any children playing, and usually there's a sound of children playing in the distance, so I'm surprised. Looking at the weather though, I think I might have to pause the video very soon and nip downstairs and get the washing in, because it's currently out on the line. I want to get this glue right to the edge on the outer edges so that sticks well. Yes, I've got a couple of loads on the line. I did actually take one in, but there's a tiny bit of that left, so I've got to go and get those in just in case it starts to rain. So I might have to dash off in a moment, we'll see how it goes. Right then, so what I'm doing now is just lining up the centre so that it's sort of in the middle of the two covers. And you can see it's not flush on the edges, on the outside edges. And that's good because it means that the covers will actually hide the majority of the pages. So there we go. You can see it just sit proud. That's like the hinge on the inside. So it sits proud on that side, but on the inside bit it's not quite to the edge, and that's because I've allowed those covers to be a little bit further apart. Right, now, so that looks quite good, I like that, brilliant. So what we're going to do now is just pick some embellishments. Now I did think that I want to keep this one quite flat, so I'm going to add some envelopes and pockets, but I'm thinking this one, if I just keep that quite flat, what I need to do really is ink that up because that's straight from the printer. So I'm going to quickly ink this up and then I think I'll stick that down. I'm not going to ink the back because I'm literally sticking it down on the page. You won't see the back. And we'll just stick this down with a little bit of wet glue, I think. So I've been really enjoying doing a bit of painting and a bit of artwork, and I've fairly recently discovered digital art, so I've been really enjoying using Procreate on the iPad. So that's definitely a learning curve. There's a while ago, last year actually, I got Procreate on my iPad for a while, but I got Procreate and I attempted to use it and I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. So I then abandoned it for a while. But luckily, there are some absolutely fantastic tutorials out there, and I went on Skillshare. I actually signed up to Skillshare. It was being promoted by a YouTuber that I follow. So I signed up, and when I went on holiday in October last year, I decided that was the time I would learn how to use it. And it was absolutely fantastic, and I just enjoyed it so much. But I really did need that tuition to help me get going, because it's not self-explanatory. I'm very much a traditional crafter, creator, an artist, and I like traditional materials. I like paper, glue, paints and things like that. So to then suddenly be faced with a screen with lots of different options that are just there at your fingertips, it's not self-explanatory, and it was a big learning curve for me. But I did really enjoy it once I had a clue what I was doing. So I'd highly recommend that if you enjoy doing some artwork. Once you get the hang of it, it's, in a way, it's slightly easier than doing traditional artwork, in that you can save versions of it, and you can digitally alter things like the size of things very easily. You can add layers, so if you are careful, you don't lose previous versions of your work, and that's actually really useful. Whereas when you're doing traditional painting, if you overdo it or you make a mistake, you're sort of stuck with it, or you have to know a few techniques to sort of get around that. Whereas with digital art, it's easier to sort of change your mistakes. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Right, so now I'm thinking I want to add, what did I want to do now? I wanted to add actually here one of these little open flippy things. Now I make this sort of thing in bulk. Every now and then I will just grab some scrap card and I will make lots of tags, lots of little flippy out books, and that's because of Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah. She does her mass makes, and a lot of these ideas were from her. So I basically just mass make an idea that another YouTuber has given me. So they might do it in different materials, but you know, a lot of the techniques are going to be the same, aren't they? A lot of the sort of foldy out, flippy out things tend to sort of come round, and people have the same ideas, they just do them periodically out of different materials. Well, Tina does her mass makes every now and then, and those videos are absolutely fantastic. So I sort of followed those a little while ago, and I make myself up a little example. I've got an example folder so I can sort of reference things, and then every now and then I'll just sort of bulk mass make, as Tina does, the bare bones of something. So like little pockets, tucks, flip outs and things like that. So I don't think I need to do that. I don't think I'm going to make it into a belly band. Maybe I am, I don't know. Yeah, well, I certainly don't need to ink the back of it. The ink does show up on this. I don't know whether you can see it very well. I know it's brown, but the ink does sort of show up on the edges. Right then, so let's pop a little bit of glue on here, and I'm thinking let's make it a belly band. So another little tuck spot, but I'll make it a very slim belly band, so you can probably just get one tag in it. So what we're going to do is just stick that about here. Hopefully that will be strong enough to hold something, and then that opens up like that, and we can pop either a tag in there if we want to. On the other side, obviously, if I put it that side, it would have to make sure it's tucked all the way in. So that would work that side, wouldn't it? Oh, I've got glue on there. Stop messing around until it's dry. So I really would like to get this little project finished today in this video, and then I'll feel like I've dipped my toe in the water again. I'll feel like I've achieved something. So I don't actually have a closure on there. Wouldn't that have been useful if I had added a bit of ribbon to this? But obviously I want to keep it relatively flat, so I think, I don't know. I could have added a little bit of ribbon on there and added that as a closure, but I didn't, so I might have to think about that for another date. So I've got my couple of little tags. I don't know whether I will get round to decorating those, but I might do, so we'll see. So with the tags, I did make myself a little selection of stickers, so I could literally just stick a couple of stickers on there, but I also did some on the brown background. So you know what I should do, what I might do is make a bow stamp out of that, so I'll do that in a bit. So I'll put that, and then I can add that onto there, because that'll be quite that would be quite flat then, wouldn't it? So that's on there. Now I was thinking, I don't mind something bulky on this side, so I'm thinking maybe that on here, or then that on there. Yeah, so I think I'm going to add this on to that there, and then that would fold in. I think I'll pop that on there. Now for this one, this is just a die cut envelope that I've made. Now I need to put my little pin somewhere so I don't lose it. Put that in my little friendship dish. What I thought for that was these little reinforcers. Now I've got my crocodile, so I think what I will do is just punch a hole Oh, that was useless, wasn't it? How did I manage that? Oh, that was totally off, never mind. Oh, and then I need to punch holes in these. So that's going to be right skew if that is. So, cut these. Oh my goodness, I'm all fingers and thumbs. There we go. So that looks awful, but never mind. This is completely to one side as well. So anybody watching this is like, oh my goodness, what have you done? There we go. It's like eyes. And then I've just got a little bit of macrame twine. So I thought I would just use that as a closure, so that will close there, and then if I pop that down on here, that can easily be opened, and you could use a little photograph or again some journaling cards or something like that. Some little journaling cards would be nice. So that's going to be too big, but I could cut that down and actually stick that on the inside. So I might do that actually. I had inked this up, but you know what? I can re-ink it, can't I? So there we go. That's skewy as well, isn't it? God dear, my cutting ability today is a bit rubbish as well. Right, so that's cool. I'll ink this up again. And then that will just be the base of the envelope. And I can print off some little journaling cards. That's marvellous, I like that. I really like that colour, that burgundy. It's nice. There we go. Right then, so now I really should have inked that, shouldn't I? I made such a hash of punching the holes in it. I don't suppose it really matters. I could probably use a darker ink. I'm using the vintage photo, but with the craft card you could use the walnut. Is it the walnut stain? I can't even remember what it's called, but I could use that. So this is going to have to be cut down because I don't need it that long, so I'm just going to hack that in half. Right, so that now can go on there. I don't think, do I want to make it a pocket? I might make it a pocket. So let's just tie that. And I think what I'll do is make it a pocket, but I'm going to seal that side up and I'll leave it open that side, although I think that's going to be of limited use, to be honest. But maybe, because you can't have anything sort of really sticking out, but maybe a piece of paper, that would be fun. It's like a hidden piece of paper. So it won't be huge, but it's just enough to sort of tuck a little note. So we can then just stick that one down in here. I hope I've not been off camera. I do apologise. I know I made a video a while ago and a couple of people have commented that some of the footage was off camera. I do apologise for that. I'm still a novice at this, and sometimes I sort of forget where my camera is sort of focusing on, so please do forgive me if that happens. I do apologise. It's not easy sometimes when you're focusing on what you're doing in front of you rather than looking up at your camera, so you know, a little bit of tolerance, I really would appreciate that. I know my videos aren't the most professional sometimes, so I do apologise. It's just you know, learning curve. I'm getting used to YouTube. I know I've been on here for a while, but I'm not posting as regularly as I probably should do, and I'm still learning, so make sure that's well stuck down. So what's everybody watching on telly at the moment? My daughter, my eldest daughter, and I are watching, or have watched, Stranger Things. The last, what's the series 4, I think it is. Absolutely brilliant, but it's now paused. We binge watched it and now it's paused until the 1st of July, I think, so now we've got to wait for the next part, so that's really difficult. I have to say it was quite disturbing. I think if you don't like gory things, it's definitely not one to watch. I don't like gory things, don't like anything that's frightening, but it's still compelling viewing. And I think when you realise who one of the particular actors is, it gets a bit less frightening, because it's a little bit sort of 80s. Well, it is set in the 80s, isn't it? But it's a little bit sort of 80s B movie almost. So you've just got to think to yourself, well, it's not, obviously it's clearly not real. And then that gets you through. It gets me through anyway. But that was absolutely brilliant, so really enjoyed that. We had to sort of drag it out a little bit, so we didn't watch it too quickly, and we were watching it at lunch times while my youngest was elsewhere, and then we would go downstairs and watch an episode or half an episode. It was really good. Right, so that's already starting to get quite chunky, so that's still good there, I like that. Now, next thing I wanted to do was pop a little pocket, I thought. Now that's actually going to fold upwards, but because it's a seam there, in theory things won't fall out. So what I'm going to do is just ink that. Again, I make a load of these with my scrap card, so I've always got a load ready to use if I ever need to. Not that I've been using them recently, but they're there when I need them. So that will just go there. So I'm just going to glue that down. Tuck that in, and I'll hold that down for a moment. So now anyway, we've got to find something else to watch, because we've got to wait now until July before the next episodes come out. I'm sorry, I'm off. So sorry about that, I think my camera just stopped. I'm not sure at what point it stopped, so during the editing process we'll soon find out. So what I'm going to do is just pop this journaling spot on here, and I think I probably should have inked that first, but I didn't. I'm out of practice, so I'm just going to pop this on here, and then rub ink pad, and just add a little bit of ink around the edge. There we go. So that you can journal on that as long as your envelope is open. I think I'm going to have to rethink this closure because it is really bulky, but that's not a major issue. I think I will find something. Let's just fasten that up now anyway. Right, so that's these. Then I can add some decorations there. I did find this that I made donkeys years ago, and I probably showed this in a video when I was doing metal embellishments, and I thought, you know what, that's absolutely perfect. It's not my illustration, it is from a book, vintage book, but I'm thinking that would be really cool, so it'd be nice to have that on the front actually, but I quite like the idea of this on the front. So I'm thinking, how could I add that maybe as a dangle or something? Or well, that could be one of the little, it could be a little treasure that goes inside the envelope, maybe. Anyway, it's cute. Right, now what was I going to do? I was actually going to add some ruffle as well. So now I've inked that up, I think I'm going to just add a little bit more ink around the edge here, and then I am going to stick this on the front. But then I can always add some bits around the edge. So let's just stick this down. And then I think I'm going to have to pause and knit downstairs, do the washing, and then go for my lovely walk with my daughter. And then I'll come back. Here we go, let's pop that, I'll put that sort of towards the top. And that sort of gives a little bit of space if I wanted to add a little bit of lace or something. So I like that, that's good. So it's coming together, and I think just the last bit, I really am going to have to change that. I wanted to add a little bit of a ruffle, but I don't know now whether I do, because that's going to have the closure. I'm not sure I like that. It's a little bit, no, I don't think I do like that now. I'm thinking maybe I could use that as part of some decor for the front, maybe. I could use that on the front. Or maybe on the side. It's quite nice, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know. Jury's out on that one. We'll leave that. So let's just have a quick look at the... So we've got that one done, that on the back. And because that's relatively flat, I think we'd get away with another journal card on the back there, but that hasn't got any lines on it. So what I might do is, I think I want to stick with the brown, so what I might do is print another one of those, maybe have that on the back but with lines, because I think that's flat enough to cope with a bit of journaling, so I think I will do that. So I'm going to come back in a little while after I've had my walk and got the washing in, and we'll hopefully finish up then. Right then, I'm back. So I've had a lovely walk with my daughter and I made tea, so we're all fed. I think my youngest daughter's still eating, but I've left everybody downstairs so that I can finish this off. Right, so while I was waiting for tea to cook, I just added some little eyelets where the brads had been. So even though I preferred the brads, they were so lovely, just sort of the perfect look that I was going for. These are a lot flatter, so that's going to be a better option for this book. And I printed off some extra note cards or little journaling slots, so I'm going to add that there now. So that will basically lift, open up like that, and we'll have that little journaling spot there. I also printed off some smaller versions. Oh, you know what I've gone and done? Not put my pin back in. Now I can hear one of my neighbours is shouting, one of their children, so you'll have to excuse the noise outside. So get my pin and hopefully that will unclog. I keep doing this. You can see I've wrecked my pin anyway. Because trying to pull it out, it got wedged in there fast, and I ended up pulling the little bead off the end. Right, so just stick this down. And then we've got another little journaling spot. So that's sweet. Now I'll pop the pin back in so that doesn't happen again, hopefully. So what we've got now, we've got to decorate those tags on the front of that pocket, and what I want to do is just pop the little journaling cards in here. So now I haven't backed them on anything. I probably should have done, really. I'm just going to cut them out. Really, technically I should have guillotined them, but because I just printed them off, I won't guillotine them. I'll just quickly snip them out and then they can go in there. And I might even make another envelope just to sort of sneak in there as well. Oh, sorry for that. One of my children seemed to be shouting me, but they have gone quiet now, so they probably don't need me after all. So I think what I'll do is pop a couple of stickers in there, and I've just cut out a couple of the mini journaling slots, and they can go in there. I'm not sure about those ones particularly because they're a bit too light grey, and I went with the beige colour, but I'll just pop them in there for now. Maybe if I ink them up they won't be too bad. And there was, I thought, a tiny envelope somewhere. Maybe that would be cute in there as well. So Right, so we can just quickly ink around those. Could really do with backing these onto some card, I think, because they're not very stiff. Having said that, that will actually keep it nice and thin, although the back is so white. I wonder if possibly just use these little scrap pieces of card. I think we'll use those. Okay, let's just back these on here. So we had a lovely walk. We went sort of a long way round to the local park, and then back past my daughter's old school, which was nice. And it was only about sort of 40 minutes, but it was really nice because it was sort of a bit of an incline. Well, that's nice, I like that. So we got a little bit out of breath walking up the hill, which was nice, because you feel like if you're doing that, then you're working a little bit harder, don't you? Right, I like that. Let's pop. Oh, that's nice. And then we'll back this one on here. Yeah, so I've got a little bit out of breath, just going for a bit of a walk. But at least that sort of ticked that off my health targets today. So if I can go for a nice little walk like that sort of every day or every couple of days, then I feel like I'm achieving something. We saw quite a few decorations up for the Jubilee. Add a little bit of ink around here. I think I should have probably inked that first, because I'm still getting a little bit of the white. It would probably help if I put my inking mat down. I wouldn't be getting ink all over my fingers quite so badly, would I? Okay, so there we go, and just a tiny bit of ink to keep that consistent, and that little tiny envelope. And then that's pretty much done. So now what did I say we needed to do? So it's lying a bit better now, but it's still quite fat, so I don't want to add any more bulk to it. But I do need to decorate this, so So maybe pop some of that on the edge, quite like that. Though actually, just spotting that, I think I like that even better. Now, you know, I do not know what I've done with my fabric glue. So let's have a look to see if I've got that here. Aha! It hasn't been upside down though, so I wonder if I'm even going to be able to get any of this out. We'll find out now, won't we? No, strictly speaking, I should put this on the lace, shouldn't I? Otherwise you get that shiny look underneath, so I've probably made a mess of that already. I hope this isn't going to add too much bulk, because it is a little bit thicker, isn't it? But I like that, that's nice. I've got these little bits of card and paper and a doily. Not sure I want the doily there particularly. I might pop the doily there though. I think if I ink that, pop the top on that. A cream doily might have been better. So maybe pop that there. And I've got a little bit of seam binding, but I'm not sure whether I want that there. I quite like that. What's that going to add? That's not too bad because it's so thin, the fabric. Maybe sweet little flower there. But having said that, that's sort of a little bit camouflaged on there, so maybe, no, quite like it maybe there. That's too bright now. I don't know. Too purple, just a little bit too out there, isn't it, that one? No. No. Now is that pink clashing a little bit? That's not really in keeping, is it? I really like that. I just think it's so cute. But because I've used that pink, I think that might be a bit much. I'll save that there, it's cute. So what am I going to put on here? No. Desperate to use that, but... Oh, what have I done with the pin? Oh great, I've taken the pin out and goodness knows where I've put that. Oh, is there? So, now I've put that there, I don't know what else I'm going to use. Maybe we could fussy tear one of the moths out. This might not work, but I do actually like that, so I'm going to put that there. If I knot that, that's going to provide too much bulk. Ooh. No. No. Is that enough though? It's really basic, isn't it? I'm thinking something else on there, but I don't know what. I don't know, I might have to revisit that another time, because I'm thinking I've probably done enough for today, and I'll probably just be staring at it for ages. So maybe I will add that little rose there and hope it doesn't bulk it out too much. It is a bit bulky, but I don't think that's going to make it worse. I'll just pop a tiny bit of ink on there. I think actually adding another tiny bit of lace there. I quite like that, that's nice. And then I think we're about done for today. I don't think I'm going to do any more. So I'm so close to finishing it, but I think that's probably going to be about it, because this video is way too long already. let's just squish that a little bit on there. And then we are going to add the little rose, and then I think we'll call it a day. I've done really well considering it's the first actual journal, junk journal sort of thing I have really made for a long time. I'm quite pleased with that progress. So let's see how that looks. So I did say that I would decorate these, but I'm going to do it very, very simply. I might even look at my stamps, to be honest, and see if there's something that I could just literally just stamp on there. Maybe a little moth. See if I've got anything stamp wise that would work. So what we've got then in this mini journal, let's put that away before I stick my fingers in it anymore. So what we've got is the little opening pocket here with a couple of tags. So there's a couple of journaling spots there. We've got that lovely journaling spot there with the moth on. Then we've got this little red underwing moth there, and the little pocket with the flippy book. So plenty of journaling space in there. Pop that back in. No, now I'm thinking about it, I might just pop that there. That'll just finish it off, I think. Yeah, I'm going to pop that there. I like that. Scrunch that up a little bit. You know, I did have this really sweet piece of fabric actually. Is that here? I really like that. Oh, it doesn't quite go. That's a shame. But I think I'm going to have to find a place for that though somewhere, because I really like that. Again, it's just from a fabric book, but I just really like that colour. Okay, so yeah, so we've got the little journaling spots there. It's dry enough to close the book. And that then flips, and we've got another journaling spot there, the little decorated pocket with some stickers and a tiny envelope and a couple of journaling cards, which now sits a lot flatter than it did, and that then closes up. So we haven't done anything on the back, but the front has a really basic decoration on there. So I think I'll probably leave it at that. that's it. So that was a long drawn out process, wasn't it? But on the whole, I'm really happy with that. It's a shame that I managed to bulk that out, because it is, I think with that, the little book on there as well, that's just creating just a tiny bit too much bulk, and it's going to place a strain on the book. But it's still a cute little book, and it was a nice practice session to get back into doing a little bit of journaling. So I'm going to tie that up now. I'm going to call it a day for today, and if I get round to it, I shall revisit it at some point in the future. But I'm really pleased with the way that turned out. So thanks ever so much for joining me. I appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoyed spending a little bit of time with me. I hope it wasn't too waffly or long-winded, and remember to give me a thumbs up if you don't mind, and I will see you in the next video. So take care, and I shall see you soon. Bye.